flies right out of my pants. Don't you know I got a little secret? It's the ace of hearts up my sleeve. And when I get home to my honey, she give me love like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. When I'm walking through my neighborhood, everybody knows I'm feeling good. See me smiling from my head to my feet. They say, ain't that Mr. Lucky coming down the street? Hey, that's me. I'm Mr. Lucky when you kiss my lips, when you touch me with your fingertips. I'm Mr. Lucky when you hold me tight. I'm Mr. Lucky when we kiss goodnight. Baby, they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky in love. You know that's right. Baby, 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 baby.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your Monday? Hope you had a good weekend. Tonight, I'm going to tell you all about Tearjerkers, movies that make you cry. I'll go over the top 7. Who's top 7? My top 7, the top 7. And if you cry at any other movies but these, you're not doing it right. All right. And you will be ridiculed. Okay. Like, share, subscribe, notification bell, retweet. All the free things that help us with the algorithm, the almighty algorithm. And then we also have memberships and super chats. You can avail yourself of those. We have a goal every evening to reach monetarily. It is any amount of money. And if you turn on your gifted memberships, you might just get one. However, tonight, if you look at the crawl that's underneath me, you will see that we're not taking any super chats tonight. If you'd like to super chat this show tonight, all of the super chat money will go to Janet the Evil Lawyer at that GoFundMe address that you see there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put that, I guess I should put that into the description of this show, shouldn't I? Anyway, for those of you that don't know, Janet the Evil Lawyer is a very funny, very active poster over on the Shuli Network. And she and her family were, I believe, moving from somewhere on the East Coast down to Florida, I want to say. And they had movers moving their stuff, right? And you know what happened? The movers crashed and everything they had was destroyed, completely destroyed. Maybe there was a couple of things, but she lost all of her father's stuff. I mean, they just lost everything. The insurance company, because this is what insurance companies do, They gave her, $6,000. So there's a GoFundMe. It's, a substantial amount. So anything you guys can do would be helpful. Don't give me anything tonight like you were going to anyway. I was looking at my numbers earlier this week, and you know what? I had to sit down with myself. You know why? We took a 40% hit last month. And so there was a long talk where I was telling me I might break off and do my own thing. Anyway. What? I'm not allowed to have any fun around here? What? Anyway. So let me get that little change made real fast. And that way you guys can get that. Just copy and paste it out of the deal. If you want to, help for Janet, the evil lawyer. Boom, bing. And there's the GoFundMe page. I save it. And we're done. Great. Back to the comments. Let's get to the comments. Oh, there haven't been any new comments. Well, it's starting to feel like home again after being out of the coffin this morning. Oh, look, nobody said anything. Oh, wait a minute. Now we got one of the biggies in here. Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. If you're not listening or watching Columbo podcast here on YouTube, you're missing out. You're missing out. He says, evening, folks. We've got Dupa saying hi back. We do have the most cheerful chat room here on the internet, as verified by independent sources. So there's that whole thing. That whole thing there. Janet, the evil lawyer. Please help her out if you can. All right. People saying hi back. Toby McGroby's here. Always good to see Toby McGroby. Assembling still, Tom. Good to see you. So, it was a weekend this weekend. And guess what? There's a very, 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 very small chance there will be no show on Wednesday. Extremely remote. However, after Wednesday, here in Dallas-Fort Worth, we're looking at over a week of rain. Or at least a potential of over 50% of rain for all those days. So I got to get out there and get some sunshine. Because after that period of time, we're going to be in the 70s and then down into the 60s. Which, of course, is uncalled for. Dupa saying hello to Toby. Boy, all of these, I want to point something out here because I think it's important. Opie and Anthony. Shuley went on his show and invited him back to his show. And they had a big argument. And it was a big thing for a couple of days. I was on that show. Countless clips were made of that show. Numerous panel discussions. People didn't say bad things about me. It was like I have this amazing ability to be completely undetectable when I'm on these shows. It's like people watch the show and I was on the show and it's like, I didn't see him. I didn't know he was there. Then there was another big Dabbleverse thing that happened when I was on one of those shows. I can't remember what it was now. I might before the shows. Nothing. Same deal. Clips, panel discussion. Not even there. Then this past Saturday, I'm on the show where Bob announces his thing. And then all the clips are from the Orange the next day. I suppose we can talk about the Orange if we want to. But, I don't have a problem with him. But isn't it creepy the way that face is always? That's the only thing. Otherwise, he's a great guy. But I can only really take about 7 seconds of that, and then it's okay. Toby McGroby say to us, Dupa, Rumble Trench Coat, cheerful chat room club members. You got that right. I said you got that right. Anyway, so Guess who I talked to today? Just about 20 minutes ago. Want me to give you a hint? Yes. Mr. Ice Cream Driver. Had a talk with him. He was stopped. There was some kids there. That's why he was stopped. But the kids weren't buying. They were just looking. You know that thing kids do when they got coins in their hand and they just look and they're trying to think, I want to spend these. I don't know. So he's sitting there. And while he's waiting on the kids, he's doing this. I swear to God. Out of the driver's side of the truck. He's got his hand out. He's in the truck and his hand's out of the truck like this, just dangling a cig out. You know, the kids are about 3 feet away. He's got this cig down. So it was a little harder to hate him. And but I did walk up and I go, a little early tonight, aren't you? He goes, well, yeah. It's like kind of like, what's it to you? It's your business. You know how I know that? And he said, how? And I went, see that place right there? Yeah. I do a big radio show out of there 5 nights a week. Know what my listeners get to hear every night at 7:15? Your horrible music. That's what they get to hear. He starts I understand, man's got to make a living. How much for another song? How much would it cost you to buy another song? Because I'll buy one for you. But if I buy one for you, you got to give me that one. And I'm going to break it into 1,000,000 pieces right in front of you. I don't even know how much it costs. It's not my truck. I just drive it for a guy. Okay, never mind. I'm done with you. That was our talk. So if you find out, let me know. Go to your guy and tell him, I'll get you a brand new song. Hell, I'm stupid. You could buy a reel with 5 songs on it. I don't know how much these things cost, but if you do, play Turkey in the Straw one more time. He was like, okay. And then I know what he was doing because I did the same thing. Yeah, I'll get right on that. I got a case of strawberry shortcakes I'm trying to get rid of. Anyway. Let's see here. Finally, ice cream truck guy. And you beat him to death with a Choco Taco. He didn't. I was looking at his thing. He didn't have Choco Taco. It's another reason. And I got to admit, when I got up on him, and when I got close to him, I felt really bad for making so much fun of him and wanting to kill him. Not kill him, but you know what I mean. Can't stand him. I felt really bad because remember me saying the one time, how much can he be making on that? Well, I don't think it was very. It was sad. It was really sad. Dupa says, we've been waiting for the Ice Cream Man interaction for the longest time. Part of me didn't feel bad because I guess I did. I mean, he was just so beaten down and stuff. I didn't have the heart to really, I could have given him one of my cards with my show information on it and say, why don't you listen to a couple of these? You're in them. But I didn't. Dupa says, I'm starting to feel bad for the Ice Cream Man. I think you should, and I know I do now. Toby McGrovey, did he look like Buffalo Bill? I always picture that type of guy driving those. No. Well, I'm assuming you mean Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs and not Buffalo Bill from the critically acclaimed television situation comedy of the late 70s, early 80s. You guys will have to look this up. I'm going to write the name here. Whoops. Some of you might, well, I don't know. Somebody might know who this is. But here's who he looked like to me. He looked like a guy that played in the NFL, but then did some movies. He was always like a big thug and stuff. That's who he looked like. Only he looked like Otis Sistrunk. You know, like if he wasn't feeling well for a number of months. He wasn't a robust, Dupa asks, how old is the ice cream man? Please tell me it's not a kid. No, it's someone I would assume is about my age. Maybe 5 years younger, maybe 5 years older. I don't know. Toby, you are correct. That's normally who you would picture. Or a really stout lady. Anyway, Dupa, right? I'm dying to know what he looks like. There we go. Tom, next time, please take a photo. I don't know. People get bent out of shape and start taking their photos. But the Wolf, if he comes in here, he'll know who Otis Sistrunk is. Bill Murray was in Buffalo Bill. Was he? Or perhaps he was in Where the Buffalo Roam. Yes, yes. Once again, till I show you my film ring from Ball State. Anyway. But you know, Dupa, a lot of people forget that Bill Murray performance as Hunter S. Thompson. And he's brilliant at it. If you watch that movie, and then if you see an interview with Hunter S. Thompson, you're like, you watch the movie and you're like, what's Bill Murray doing with his voice and everything? Then you see Hunter S. Thompson and you're like, oh my God, he nailed it. So kudos to you for remembering that long lost gem. All right, here we go. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, looks like you can get Ice Cream Song for about $25. Only it's at the ice cream truck prices, so it's like $75. I thought I heard something for a second. I'm like, if that bastard comes back here just to thwart me. Okay, you're right. You have the ring. I have a friend who's always wrong about movie stuff, and I always have to go, I don't even say anything. I just say nothing. Zumac Attack says, a tearjerker, The Godfather, when Marlon Brando and his grandson are in the garden and he collapses. Luca Brasi getting garroted, nothing. Nothing. Khartoum gets his head cut off, nothing. But you know that scene was an improv, don't you? The kid was having difficulties and stuff, and so they just let the cameras roll and let Marlon Brando interact with him, and that's when he took the Rhine and did all the stuff. So it's an improv. When he goes, and the kid goes, ah! Yeah, it's all an improv. But Zumac Attack, I like the way you're thinking. Say, why don't we get to tonight? Oh, sorry. His grandson, think of the children and the music in the background. Zumac Attack, I don't want to besmirch what you're doing here, but stick with me, bro. I'm about to put up the top 7. Okay, now these are in no order. These are the top 7. Hey, let me tell you about Tearjerkers, movies that make you cry. Oh, wait. Before I do all that, many of you are aware of The Wolf, my good friend from college, The Wolf, who appears on this show occasionally, who appears in our chat room frequently. And yes, Zumac Attack, one too many will make you cry with laughter, but not with comedy laughter, with ineptitude laughter. Bambi and all those Disney movies, yep. That is funny. It was very funny. That's why I stopped down. Many of you are familiar with the Wolf. The Wolf sent me a picture of him and his friend Perk together. And here you are. The Wolf's on the left there. As you can see, he's a gigantic man. And Perk is, I mean, the Wolf is not super tall. He's like 5'10" probably. And so Perk's a pretty tall fella there. So there's the Wolf. And he is my West Coast advertising program. Just him in the shirt. That's it. That's all we're doing out west. So there's the Wolf. There you go. Now, let me tell you about your top 7 tearjerkers. We begin with a movie that I, for a long time, said, this is the only movie that a guy can get away with openly crying at this movie. All right? And that movie is Brian's Song. Brian's Song, a true story about love. For those of you not familiar, Brian's Song is the true story of Chicago Bears running back Brian Piccolo, who befriended legendary NFL running back Gale Sayers. They were the first black and white roommates on the Chicago Bears, and they became extremely close friends. Gale Sayers was this amazing running back, incredibly fast, amazing moves. He was just, they called him magic. He was amazing, but he suffered what most thought would be a career-ending injury. Brian Piccolo went over to Gale Sayers after his operation and he said, look, I'm going to beat you, Sayers, but you got to be at your best. So let's get to work. They became friends through that. They started actually playing together in the Chicago Bears backfield. And it was then that Brian Piccolo, portrayed in the movie Brian's Song by James Caan, effervescent, funny, just a great guy, was diagnosed with cancer, terminal cancer. Gale Sayers wins the NFL's Comeback Player of the Year award and gives the famous speech. My friend Brian Piccolo faces an opponent every day with strength and will and grace. I love Brian Piccolo. And tonight, when you hit your knees, I want you to ask God to love him too. Fortunately, Brian Piccolo died at the age of 28. And the movie Brian's Song was released just 6 months after Brian Piccolo's death. This movie, and I think Rumpled will agree with me here, this movie is thought by many to be the best made-for-TV movie of all time. Now, there's others that get in there. I mean, not a lock or anything. But na 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 na, the music. If you're a guy, it is acceptable. Now, usually I pull one of these air conditioning in here. I don't know what's wrong. These filters need to be changed, man. But you can cry if you are a guy at Brian's Song, which I own on DVD and Blu-ray. They remade it. Don't watch the remake. Never underestimate the wolf. No, we would never do that. Rumple Trenchcoat says, clearly you're going to mention Savannah Smiles. Oh, I got something here. Makes Savannah Smiles look like a comedy. Dupa says, I've never seen Savannah Smiles. And it's, you watch these 7 first with a big box of tissues. Okay. Rumpled, is it sad or are you joking? Rumpled says, oh, it's a tearjerker for real, mostly for its ending. Yeah, a lot of these. Man, I wish I could play the. I'm just so scared of getting nailed by YouTube. But the Brian song trailer. This is a story about two men. One was black, one was white. I mean, it's this. Oh, it's really great. Randy says, what a great movie. I've watched it many times. Brings a tear to my eye. Rumpled says, I agree, Tom. No one should be ridiculed for having an allergy attack at the end of Brian's song. Well, and that's the truth about a lot of these movies, these tearjerkers. It's the ending that gets you. All right? So let's move forward, and I will give you item number 2. Item number 2 has a very, very prominent place in the Tom Gully Show lore. And that film, of course, is Old Yeller. Now, okay, who didn't cry when Old Yeller died? Brian's song here. Toby McGriff says, I always hear people reference it, and I used to pretend I knew what they meant. I gotta watch it. And it's a made-for-TV movie, too, so you can plow right through it. So anyway, Old Yeller. Now, here we go, rumpled trench coat. If you don't cry at Old Yeller, I'd be a little suspicious for you. Dupa says, I'm out. Walt Disney's most dramatic motion picture. Now, for those of you who don't know the story of Old Yeller, it's the story of a little boy whose father has to go off and be gone for a long time to go do some work for this very poor family. And a nearby family has a litter of dogs, and one of them is given to the family, and the boy can't stand the dog. Can't stand him. But the boy, who's a teenager, is now the man of the house. He has to go out hunting and do all sorts of other stuff, and the dog is Old Yeller, and the dog follows him around and just won't leave him alone. So finally, they start to become closer, and the dog does some stuff. The dog saves him from a wild boar attack at one point. He still gets cut up by the boar, but Old Yeller comes in and just kicks this boar's ass. Then at another point in time toward the end of the movie, a big steer, horned steer, comes into their area, and that steer is rabid. It's crazy. And the family's in danger, and zoom, in comes Old Yeller, saves the day. He saved the day all the time, Old Yeller did. He was the best dog ever. They were hungry. He'd come back with food in his mouth. I mean, he was the greatest dog ever. And Old Yeller's got a little nick and a cut here and there. Oh, boy. The boy's mom, well, Travis, we're going to have to pen him up and keep an eye on him. So for several days, Travis is out there with his dog. Mom, he's okay. He's just fine. Look at him. I know, Travis, but that's... And then comes the day. They go out. And it's clear that Old Yeller has become rabid due to his efforts, valiantly and selflessly saving the family. Dorothy McGuire, who plays the mother, is going to shoot the dog. And Travis says, no, Mom. He's my dog. I'll do it. But as luck would have it, Old Yeller was dicking the dog next door, and there was a litter of a bunch of little Old Yellers. So then they went off. So how does this affect Tom Gully Show lore, I have you ask? Well, there have been a few moments on this show when I have broken down crying of laughter, and this is probably the number one. It's too bad that Wild Bill's not here, because he would remember this. I did I did a show where I asked everybody to name their favorite scene in a movie of all time. What's the best scene in a movie ever? And people are naming Luke, I'm Your Father and all these scenes. And this one guy that was a regular, he just types in, I like how Old Yeller died. Just saying it makes me laugh. I like how, who could possibly like how Old Yeller dies? God almighty. The doctor says, hail Tom and chat. Hail right back at you. Dupa says, what is with Walt Disney making us cry in so many movies? We were kids. I know, they like those poignant... Dupa, because it's not available anymore, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but a movie that you would cry your eyes out on, that they would show at drive-ins all the time, and now you can never see it again, is Song of the South. And I mean it, at the end of that, oh my God, it's just, you left it. I saw it at drive-in, and it was like the whole world is unfair. This is a miserable existence. It's just, anyway. Dupa giving out a salute to Doc Torn. Everybody is actually. It's pretty cool. His luck ran out. Yeah, Old Yeller's luck ran out. And Fess Parker's in the middle of the movie. It's a really great movie, Old Yeller. The Wolf is here. For those of you who don't remember, I showed you earlier. There's the Wolf. His buddy, and as I mentioned earlier, Wolf is my West Coast advertising program. That's it. He just wears the shirt. That's all we're doing out there. Wolf's getting some hellos. Thank goodness Rob Saul wasn't on the farm. Hey, guys. Hey, did you see? I got two mind-blowing experiences this week, and that was a weekend. That was that, number one, that Stuttering John had blocked me on his channel. I did not know this. And I don't know what I could have done to have been blocked because I hardly am there. But he unblocked a bunch of people and he read all their names. And as he was reading the names, Tom Gully show, Rob Saul went, oh, Tom Gully, that guy's a loser. And I went, Rob, for me to be a loser, I'd have to get a job as a bartender and then sell my car and ride a jitney, hit on my aunt. I don't have that many aunts left. And go to the pet shop for companionship. All right, Wolf is on deck. Yes, sir, Kim Warfield. The Wolf says he should have gone to school so he could get a call from his mom telling him she put the dog down. I don't know that they have. Goes, hey, if you've seen Old Yeller, there is a Stuttering John character in Old Yeller. You know the guy that they left back when all the men went on the big hunt or whatever they did? The guy that stayed back and came in and ate their food and stuff and... I can get some of that prickly pear poultice. I could eat a little bit. That guy, Stuttering John. People saying hi to the Wolf. Oh, Wolf. Dupa says, my husband wants to know if anyone shall Ring of Bright Water. I haven't seen it. I did do a lot of research for this particular story, and there were a lot of movies that I bet you are super sad, but I'd never heard of them. And I'm a movie freak. So I didn't do any of those. Rumpled Trenchcoat, that Rob saw clenched teeth, downward smile, already looks like he's got rabies. Like, that guy's a loser. Everybody's a loser. They're just, they're a bunch of losers. They're just, I think they're so funny, and they're just a loser. Okay, winner. If that's winning, Randy says, I never did see Old Yeller because my friends told me the ending and I thought if it's that bad, I don't want to watch it. It's worth it. Wolf wearing the Tom Gully shirt. Damn straight, Dupa. And believe me, the Wolf has quite a collection of like super high-end athletic jerseys and you name it. The doctor says, well, damn, how the rest of us supposed to compete with a handsome guy like Wolf? That's what I was up against in college. Plus he had personality. What the hell was I going to do? By the way, I'd like to mention again, tonight, no super chats. In the scroll at the bottom, you can see there's a GoFundMe for Janet the Evil Lawyer from TSN. She wasn't driving. The movers were moving them, and they wrecked, all of her stuff destroyed. So the family's in a real tough spot for a place to stay, maybe some furnishings. They have no more furniture. They have nothing. Nothing. So it's also in the description of tonight's show. So if there's anything you can do, it would be appreciated by Janet and her family, I know. And if you need any motivation to help her, nobody rings up Vince the lawyer like Janet the Evil Lawyer. Funky Bronco, who I get to see in a lot of chat rooms, is saying, Tom Gully, you talking about getting bitches from the local ads. I feel like you got some stories. You could be a good asset on the Levy Love show. Well, what? Oh, I know what that was. Well, sometimes, let's put it this way. You guys see this, right, every night? If you saw some pictures of me with my gals, you would say, what in the hell is that gorgeous creature doing with that guy? And that's why I should be on the show. Or sex advice, well, I'm happy to share everything I learned on the streets. I'm not a hater. I just want to pile on. It's okay, man. It's okay. I enjoy it. Funky Bronco, you got good advice to spread on the Levy Love show. Where I can. I feel like Bob's going to be a big font of knowledge there. That's even if I'm on anymore, because Bob has got a ton of people he can draw from. So I'm really lucky and actually very honored to have been on this show. So, especially when you consider that right now John is on someone else's. I'm not John. Bob is on someone else's show. And when I was on his show this morning, he was advertising that show at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I just kind of had to sit there and go, well, but could you just delay it a little? Because Rob Saul considers Old Yeller porn. Yeah. Well, before you shoot the dog, I could go back in there and anyway. You got story. What show? I was on Out of the Coffin this morning. See, again, I'm on these shows and nobody, I mean, you can watch the show and still not know I was on it. I'm trying to figure out a way to make that a strength. Where's my friend Terry Nee tonight? The only reason I ask is he'd be great for some of this abuse. Oh, yeah. Item number 3 tonight on Tearjerkers. I got to tell you, Savannah Smiles. Really? Savannah Smiles? Really? Savannah Smiles. All right. Ever see My Girl? Anybody? Show of hands. Have you seen My Girl? Is there anything sadder on earth than My Girl? Oh, the wolf. Well, the wolf says I could never compete with the Gringo Giant, which is a complete lie. I can't pick up girls at well, it depends on the size of the girl, but you could pick up any size girl and pick them up and bite them on the bottom. Thank you so much for the $10. But nobody else do that. Give it to the evil lawyer chick in the super chat. Gay. You're going to have to be more specific. There's so many things I do that... Okay. My Girl. All right. Tom, what are you going to do with the teenagers and family messing with my neighborhood? Hey, Funky Bronco. Thank you for remembering. I got news for you guys on that. I wasn't going to say anything about it, but the car in question that always makes all the noise and that they're always sort of working on, you can't leave a car parked. They put it out on the street, and they left it there for longer than the city allows them to. So it got towed off yesterday. I mean, if you're going to kill cute kids in your music, I guess it beats Savannah Smiles. Yeah. Report them to social services. No need. If I didn't, Will says, there's a rugby player somewhere with that picture. As for height, are you referring to Big Red? Well, that girl, yeah, Big Red was big. But as you remember, Wolf, when I first got to college, I was really skinny. And then they put me on all the stuff, and I got bigger. Big for a guy that does what I do. Not wolf big. That's too big. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what My Girl is about, it's about a little boy and a little girl that live next to each other and has very touching, sort of innocent, sweet little romance. And this little girl had this little ring that she was really into. Man, she just thought it was the greatest. And at one point in time or another, she's getting older, so she has the woman thing happen to her, and it freaks her out. She thinks she's dying, bleeding to death. And he comes to visit her because she's not feeling well, but she's really mean to him because she's got this girl thing going on and stuff. And before that, they like shared a first kiss while they were out in the woods. That's when she lost her ring. He goes to find the ring for her. And they'd searched and searched and searched and searched. But he's going to do it because that's what she loves and he's her guy and blah, blah, blah. And he's allergic to bee stings and he gets stung by a bee and he dies. Looking for her ring, which he found. And then they come and give her the ring after the funeral and tell her that he found her ring. And she realizes that he died. Oh, God. All right. Sorry. That's what happened. A purity ring? God, let's hope so. For the love of all that's holy, Funky Bronco. These are 9, 10-year-olds. Let's hope it was a purity. Is that a new Ball State t-shirt? No, this one's, God. 10 years old, maybe? 10 year older? I think it's 10 years old. Dupas says, Funky Bronco, what is your tearjerker movie? Yes, that'd be great. His glasses. He can't see without his glasses. You guys remember Fearless Fly?
It generates millions of megatons of energy through the tiny muscles in my head. My glasses.
He always loses his glasses. Seriously, this movie is a real downer. And it's got Jamie Lee Curtis and Dan Aykroyd in it. All right, Funky Brown said, I haven't watched any films since Good Will Hunting and Dead Poets Society. Dead Poets Society, by the way, made it on a lot of the lists that I looked at. Those movies were enough. And I haven't watched anything since. You're missing out on some real good shoot things and blow them up movies. Shoot things up. Okay, now here's a sad one. And this one's depressing sad. It's not poignant, uplifting sad like Old Yeller. It's depressing, awful sad. Oh, yeah. $1 Million Baby. I prefer Underdog. Ooh, wah, ooh, wah, ooh, wah, ooh. Ah, when evil in this world is barren, a cry goes out from near and far. Underdog. That's such a cool song. I'm so tempted to play it, but I know YouTube would shove a red hot poker up my microphone. Let's see here. That was good stuff. Yeah, man. That was a movie of the decade. Anybody who doesn't know what $1 Million Baby's about, spoiler alert, Ariana May's here. Good to see you. Good to see you. The Ultimate Gift is a movie nobody ever seems to know, but it ruined my life. Damn. See, that's one of those ones that was on the list that I saw, and I, $1 Million Baby is just kind of a gritty, you're rooting for a movie, everything's going great. Then the evil German chick hits her after the bell. She breaks her neck. She's paralyzed from the waist down, and she ain't ever going to walk again. But that's okay, because her family's going to come and take care of her. Oh, sorry, turns out her family is just a bunch of white trash vultures trying to get everything they can out of her. And Clint Eastwood, who took care of her, taught her to box, and was her manager, they freeze her out of the picture. She starts trying to bite her tongue off so she'll bleed to death, and she flat out tells him she's never going to stop. And so Clint takes care of it for her. That is one damn depressing movie, especially when the white trash family comes out. Strikes home with me. I got people in my own, and oh boy, is that a yeesh. Yeah, $1 Million Baby. Seriously, you're led to believe she's going to recover to take revenge, but no. Funky Bronco, excuse me, says, Dupa, it's like if you heard the Beatles, you ain't going to anything subpar. Well, I mean, it's true, but they have been releasing movies since music since 1970. I mean, just because there's something that's really good doesn't mean there's a lot of other stuff out there. I mean, you could listen to some other, you know what I'm saying? Rumpel said, I was generally mad at the ending of $1 Million Baby. It was so good in a feel-bad way. It really was. It was just like, oh, God. And I guess if you consider the totality of the movie, it was a happy ending. Because she wasn't going to have to be in that way that she didn't want to be. I don't know, man. RTC, exactly. The movie ends and part of you dies. It's kind of right. The Wolf says, I like The Gentleman's Agreement. Oh, my God. Fantastic script. It didn't make me cry. It didn't make me want to cry, though. It was just kind of depressing. And that's what makes it beautiful. Yes, Funky Bronco. They walk her in the hospital room with theme park merchandise. Yeah, they'd been to the theme park on her money, on her dime. It's so. I know everybody here knows people like this. You might be related to some of them, but they're people who have lived their whole life without any like real sense of human dignity. And so there's no low place for them to go, and they don't realize it. They actually don't. This is just the way they are. You know, maybe back in the back of their mind, they got a voice that's going, you're awful for doing this, but it's drowned out by the, well, I want this and I want that. And I've been around people like that. And it's just like, especially when they're older. If they're younger, you can talk to them and go, hey, you know what? You'd probably be a big hero around here if you didn't do that. But when they're older, well, she's not going to use that money. She's just sitting there in that bed, you know, and you're just like, what, are you kidding me? They don't get it. Rumpel says, seriously, Toby, I want to take a pair of editing scissors so bad. I know. And that lady that plays the mom, she's the same mom that's in Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. And she's a tremendous actress, and she is point for point brilliant as the white trash mom. I mean, Like, she could walk into one of my family reunions and be right at home. It's a tough movie to watch. It really is. Dupa says, I got teary-eyed over the death of a red balloon. What the hell is wrong with me? Dupa, are you talking about the Children's Playhouse Theater with Kukla, Fran, and Ollie, and the movie that they did, the legendary award-winning movie, no dialogue, called The Red Balloon? They would show it on Captain Kangaroo and all sorts of stuff when we were kids. That's really great. The Wolf said, we can still run out Brian's song or love story. Wolf, you weren't here for the first one, which was Brian's song. And then you shank me in the ass with love story because I was going to reveal it next. She could mean Death Star. Death Star don't make you cry, though. Although I was kind of I was friendly with, but not probably what I would call friends with, Dan O'Bannon. Writer and actor in Death Star. No, that was Dark Star. Never mind. Laughing at Wolf. Tom, how do you go from movies to like $1 Million Babies to the garbage out now? I don't know, man. There's still some good ones out. But what I've noticed is there's a lot of really great independent films. And I'm going to show you one here in just a second. But it seems to me like it's getting harder and harder for Hollywood to make big budget movies that are super, super good. Like $1 Million Baby. It just seems that way to me. If you want something with a well-written script that's dramatic, it's not going to be a giant movie. It's going to be an independent movie. Rumble Trenchcoat says, love means never having to say you're sorry for ruining Tom's list. Yes. Love means never having to say you're sorry. Rumple, it's kind of funny. I use that quote all the time, only I put a different word. You know, TSN means never having to say you're sorry or whatever. I'd say 99% of the people that I use it around have no idea where it comes from. But Love Story was a giant generational hit. It was, along with Dr. Zhivago, it's maybe one of the top considered romantic movies of all time. And made huge stars of Ally McGraw and Ryan O'Neal. It was a story of a Harvard guy that meets this girl, and he starts dating her. He was a hockey player for Harvard, and they start having this wonderful whirlwind love affair. He meets her parents. There's a little, do you really want to get married? What are you kids doing? Blah, 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 blah. But then they stick together, and they kind of tell their parents, hey, man, if you don't like it, screw you. We're living together. So they start getting along. Everything's going great. The parents start buying in. Everything starts getting good. Everything starts getting wonderful. And as they're walking through the Harvard yard, one day she's, are you okay? I was like, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Everything's not fine. She has a terminal illness. And that's the rest of the movie. And he tells her he's sorry at one point, and she says the big line from the movie, and you can see it on the poster, love means never having to say you're sorry. And I would say, and neither does hatred, if you think about it. Let's see here. Tom, do you have any favorite Gold Age stars? I have too many to list. Is the problem. And you'd have to define Gold Age. I would assume if you're talking about Golden Age, then you're talking about somewhere from about 1940 to about 1960. Could probably start a little earlier if you wanted it to, but all the people that started earlier would have been around in 40. So it would take me too long. It really, really, really would. I'm a big Sterling Hayden fan. I'm a big Robert Mitchum fan. Wolf is being laughed at as usual. You know I did mean Dark Star. I did. Hey, we're on the same wavelength. Pervish wavelength. There's no acting. No, there's not. Like there ain't no substance. It's McDonald's. Wolf says, hey now, I still love those McDonald's cheeseburgers. I got a Big Mac this weekend, and I forgot my phone, so I couldn't use my app and my 72 million points that I accumulated while working downtown in the CBS radio building for KRLD. I had to pay full price for a Big Mac. Don't cough in a movie, or you're doomed. Are you okay?
I'm just fine.
Funky Murder. Tom, do you have a favorite Golden Age star like Tracy Lords or Ginger Lynn, Tom Byron or Randy West? Aha. Well, you know, you got your Christy Canyon. Yeah. Can't go wrong there. Really. Peter North. 1969 to 1984. I was talking, the porn era. 69 to 84. Well, see, in 84, that's when all of the major chest enhancements and the bleach blonde was going on. So, I mean, if you're going to go back that Lynn LeMay might be a little bit before Christie. Tiffany Million. I'd have to think about it a little more. Terry says, Boomer movie. Hey, if you come late, you don't get to see the new movies, and I got one coming up right next. So, and I was asking about you earlier. Funky Bronco says, did you ever have a beef with, Cal Muller? No. He was never on my radar. My biggest Hollywood beef ever was Tom Savini. I'm waiting for him to die so I can tell everybody about it. Unfortunately, a whole lot of horror movie people think he's just the greatest. And no, he's not. Let's see. He's still around. He's 77. He won't be around much longer. And then I'll let everybody know what my Hollywood beef was. You know. Let's just say he was talking a lot of crazy nonsense when he was 2,000 miles away from me. And when I met him in person, he ran out of the room. Rumple says, I had the chicken Big Mac. It was good, but I felt somehow dirty afterwards. I couldn't do it. They've been pushing it all week, and I just, no. Yes. I wish they would sell that Big Mac sauce, though, like on the, supermarket. Debbie Diamond says, Funky Bronco, she was real popular, but she never did anything for me. I'd have to look at some lists. Yes. Peter North, the beer can. Peter North originally worked in the game. I know. Peter North was amazing. I thought you told us about that beef while you were in Utah. I probably did. It'll just be more fun when he's dead. Jesus God, I've got to get through this. Anyway, End of Love Story will make you cry. Now, this next one is a relatively new film. And man, oh man, is it... oh boy. This movie is about a little boy during Nazi Germany times. It was made in 2019, and it's an adaptation of a book that was written in 2008. As Germany is collapsing, this little 10-year-old boy named Johann, but they called him Jojo. And he joins, because everybody else is doing it, the junior section of the Hitler Youth. So he's just massively indoctrinated with Nazi stuff. And goes as far as to create an imaginary friend named Adolf, who is kind of a buffoonish, cartoonish version of Adolf Hitler. And Yeah. So they take all these Hitler Youth out and they make them kill a rabbit to prove they're worthy. And he can't. So they start calling him Jojo Rabbit. So his imaginary Adolf friend gets him all worked up to go back and kill the rabbit to show everybody what a badass he is. And he returns with an actual hand grenade. He throws it, but it blows up at his feet and it scars him and injures his legs. His mother, very close to his mother, extremely close. And she says, look, I know he's hurt, but give him little things to do, like spreading out propaganda, leaflets and stuff like that. Well, he's at home one day and he discovers that there's a Jewish girl living in the attic of his place. He's terrified of her, but he's also very aggressive towards her because of all the Nazi stuff. And can't really do anything because if he reveals that she's hiding there, she'll get executed, he'll get executed, and mommy will get executed. So he keeps interacting with her. He wants to discover her Jew secrets and make a little picture book called Yoo-Hoo Jew, which would allow people to easily identify Jews. Despite this, he's a kid. So he can't help forming a friendship with her. She is older than him, and she's saddened and amused by him, but they sort of coexist. The worst part of this movie is that his mother is revealed to be part of the German resistance to Nazism. And she's secretly spreading anti-Nazi messages all over the city. Jojo's walking home later that day. His mother had a very distinctive pair of shoes. As he's walking down the street, he sees them at eye level. His mother has been hung. And it is absolutely one of the just most shocking things. And then Jojo and Elsa are forced to try and make their way together. It's a super sad movie. The kid does a great job because he's living half of his life in a fantasy world. And it's just so sad. I mean, it was really sad. Terry Nee says, you're making Harry Reams noises. Harry Reams had a lot of people that came out, defended him when he was put in jail for Deep Throat. And then they put him in some mainstream movies. He was actually in quite a few mainstream movies. Is it as perv as The Little Drummer Boy? Well, it's probably not as perv as The Tin Drum. I think it's more perv than Little Drummer Boy. Rebel Trenchcoat says, I do find that people like Taika Waititi who are good at comedy can also give the best gut punches. Yeah, man. It's that movie. I stumbled upon it when I saw it, and I began watching it as it started, and it was riveting. It's probably one of the best movies of the last 10 years. It's exceptionally good. Funky Bronco says, this sounds a lot like the film The Reader, starring Kate Winslet. A little, sure, a little. And the very final film I'm going to give you tonight on Tearjerkers is, oh yes, It's a Wonderful Life. The end of that movie. Mary did it, George. She ran all over town telling people you needed help. Everybody coming in. You'll never believe you have to come, George. It's wonderful. All of the goodwill, all of the years coming back to George.
I was saving this money for a divorce if ever I got married.
Annie, the help, And I broke the jukebox, and no man is a failure who has friends. Clarence, they did it all in one night, you know? Mary. That's right.
Teacher says, anytime a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. Now, these people in the Dabbleverse, they do most of the buying and selling and living and dying around here. Well, is it too much to ask for them to buy and sell and live and die in 4 decent rooms and a bath? Well, my father didn't think so, but to you, people are cattle. I'm talking about the building and loan. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about something you can't get your smarmy fingers on, and it's galling you. Anyway. Sorry. Jimmy Stewart. Mary, don't you know me? Don't you know me, Mary? Mr. Bailey, my friend, why you must drink so much? Yes, Jimmy, yes. He wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save him. She's at the library. Anyway, Jimmy was legendary. Yes. I know every word of that movie. I'm just like Bob. I know every single word. I want a big one. I like George Bailey. He's got a nice face. I like George Bailey. Say goodnight, Gracie, everyone. God, we got to get you guys out of here. There's Rico. There's all sorts of things going on. Oh, Jimmy Stewart reading a poem about his dog, Bo. My dog died a few days before the show. Oh, boy. I guess I'll always know it's so. I'll always love a dog named Bo. Oh, hey. Those guys are friends of ours. They're okay. Just a bunch of guys doing a thing. It's okay, man. They wronged Levy. You know, I don't think anybody set out to wrong anybody. I think it's just circumstances and things happened and everybody did what they thought was best for themselves. Nobody's mad at each other. Nobody's trashing each other. It's just a tip of the cap and we'll go on our way. But they wronged Levy. You can have that opinion, and you certainly have every right to it, but some people, and when I say some people, I mean me, are looking at this like, well, I'm getting to do Bob's show a lot now, and so I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. That's their thing. It's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate, but it's one of those things that happens. Man's already grown. You can't raise him over again, so... something tells me I'm going to be picturing this and laughing when I watch it, so I hope so. But Levy, though, I know. Funky Bronco has a little VTL inside, his best. But Levy's show's best. Okay. George's brother created the plastic island in the Pacific. Yeah. Harry Bailey was just throwing trash bags out the window when he shot down that troop carrier. Shot down the kamikaze from hitting the troop carrier. Funky Bronco says, and you good on Bob's show. Well, thank you. SJ is boring. That's why Levy left. Well, I don't know. I think there's a variety of things that people just need to do. And you know what? Ain't none of my business. That's their thing. It's their thing. Look, to the almost 11 people watching this show right now, I can't really afford to be at odds with anybody but Stuttering John, Rob Saul. That's pretty much, with the amount of support. Oh, hey, we've jumped up to the almost dozen people. You guys remember when I was like just 3 months ago or 4 months ago going to the almost 200 people? All right. Well, Wolf says, my tearjerker was Dr. Strangelove. Well, you don't want let loose of your essence. Bob's fine. Tom, not so much. I could be a lot funnier on that show, but you guys got to realize I'm like the other four members of the Boston Celtics when Larry Bird was playing. You just get the ball to Larry and get out of the way. That's what I'm doing on Bob's show. Just let Bob do his thing. Give him a big stage. Give him a lot of room. Let him do his thing. Dupa says, Wolf. Tom, why you not smoke cigs on your show? I'm about to right now as I close this thing out because we got to get out of here. There's other shows going on and things. And I appreciate you guys showing up. I don't know what tomorrow's show is going to be about yet. I got some topics here somewhere. Where was that thing? I think cosplay might be one. I don't know. I got Ernie Kovacs. Oh, yeah. This week we will have Ernie Kovacs. We will have... and we will have cosplay this week coming up. Yes, smoke a cig. You need it. You deserve a cig. I only really smoke them when I'm on Bob's show, but for some reason tonight I needed one. Oh, I was imitating the guy. Yeah. Okay, kids. That old clock on the wall says that, like the Reverend Al Green, I got to get on up out of here. And you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. We'll be back tomorrow night. And Wolf loves Ernie Kovacs. Slim Pickens is the best. One of you guys go back there and get a shitload of dimes. You're like Dice Clay with the cig. Hey, till next time. We'll see you next time. Oh, but please don't forget, if you can, help out Janet the Evil Lawyer. All the information's there. If you do need the link, it's in the description tonight. Hopefully we did a little something for her. And if you did, thank you, and I appreciate it. With all that being said, the only thing left to say is, till next time, we'll see you next time.